Oh, yes. On February 5th, 2025, Fox News, you know that place Donald Trump likes to call his own personal media machine, is probably going to have a conversation with their program director this morning in this breaking story. When you see the massive accident, whoopsie poop, they made with the guest they just had on, who called out Sean Hannity in a way he should have been called out every single week for the last 10 years. And they did it to themselves. And in this breaking story, wait till you see the popular figure in America who just absolutely hammered Sean Hannity. And real quick, before I get to that story, let me show you a little interlacing clip between a particular recent guest of Sean's and also what really happened to Fox News when they got sued for not being news. Take a look at this.
Now, last month, our friend, former Fox colleague Pete Hegseth was chosen by President-elect Donald Trump to be his defense secretary. Now, since President Trump's announcement, Pete has faced, well, the predictable slew of allegations about pretty much everything, a personal relationship in which he was fully investigated, exonerated, and his time in the military. Oh, and he might have had a drink or two too much on occasion.
So we just heard from lawyers representing Dominion Voting Systems after the company settled with Fox. The attorney, Justin Nelson, announced the deal. It's a really unbelievable figure. Fox is going to pay Dominion Voting Systems $787,500,000. Dominion's lawyer saying, quote, today represents a ringing endorsement for truth and for democracy.
But after President Trump asked me to be his Secretary of Defense, should I get the opportunity to do that, I look forward to being a secretary for all our warriors.
Fox trying to put a positive face on what can only be interpreted as one of the ugliest and most embarrassing moments in the history of journalism. Fox issued a statement saying, quote, we are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion Voting Systems. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. The settlement reflects, this is going to be difficult to say with a straight face. This settlement reflects Fox's continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards. We are hopeful that our
Because there are such things in America called journalistic integrity and also things that have to do with the law. You know, when it comes to discrimination or copyright or defamation. And Fox is guilty of all of those things, which is why they're not an official legal news station anymore.
We are hopeful that our decision to resolve the dispute with Dominion amicably instead of the acrimony of a divisive trial allows the country to move forward from these issues. Unquote.
The left is trying to turn this into a trial in the media, a show trial, and we're not going to let that happen.
I can only assume that Fox is cutting this check because they feared that after a jury trial, not only would they have to pay more, but it would become even more obvious that they are not a journalistic organization.
Yeah, they have no journalistic integrity, coupled with a whole bunch of Donald Trump's cabinet picks. And watch this breaking story from Stephen A. Smith regarding, maybe the Secretary of Defense. Here it is.
You have somebody like Hegseth, well, for example, let's use him because he was speaking about your former colleague at Fox News. Hold on. That's not a defense secretary. Excuse me. Listen, I'm not bringing up anything personal. I'm simply saying, my God, Sean, when you're talking about people who are unqualified, I wish him nothing but the best. He served our country, in the military. I get all of that. But when you are a weekend host on Fox News, and now you're the defense secretary of the United States overseeing 3.5 million people.
Let me ask you, did you serve?
You see, that's what happens when you put somebody on Fox News who doesn't give a damn about being concerned for his career over not being liked by the conservative media. That just goes to show the bubble. This is where we are, folks. We can be upset about it. We can be bummed about it. But the truth of the matter is 30 to 50% of this country only watches a place that's not only not legally or held to news standards as a news outlet, but also who essentially, deep state, state media, all those words, essentially only tell you what they want you to think and know. And it has genuinely, over the last 15, 20 years, but especially the last 10, it has inoculated this country into believing things that are not true and or not ever really hearing the other side of anything. And so when someone like a Stephen A. Smith, who just doesn't give a damn, comes on your show, why would you even schedule him if you don't realize Stephen A. Smith is going to tell you exactly, like him or not, maybe you don't like him, but like him or not, he is going to tell you exactly what he thinks, what he feels, whether you like it or not, or whether or not it fits your narrative. And what he just did is what I tend to say to you at the end of all of my commentary, which is stay positive, stay happy, enjoy your life, but have conversation with people you agree with. But just like Stephen A. Smith just did, have conversations with people that you don't agree with. You don't have to fight, don't have to yell, but just make sure they get a different perspective and then listen to theirs so that you understand their perspective and just work on a small shift. That's all we can do. And stay frosty.